Jack Harlow's look was honestly kind of foul. And I'm so glad that she was interviewing again. Now let's get to the photographer situation.
I've never seen so many emotional faces in my life.
Hello. I know this isn't my typical content and whatnot, but to be honest, I have this channel as a hobby, so I'm gonna kind of post whatever I want, you know? And it happens to be that I want to talk on the internet about my opinions about the Met Gala. I don't know if this is like a debriefing the Met Gala, but this is a bunch of my opinions from what I've seen on the internet so far from the Met Gala, because my For You page is absolutely filled with stuff about it. So I'm so excited to talk about it and give my opinions because I love this kind of stuff. I am not a professional by any means, and I do not mean this to be like an attack towards anyone, I guess. This is just my opinions, okay? Anyways, let's start off with Emma Chamberlain. I'm so glad that she was interviewing again. I love her. I worship her. She's the whole reason I started getting into YouTube. I'm so glad she's back, and let me tell you why. The main reason I ever look forward to the Met Gala is because she's gonna be there. Before 2021, I did not care about it that much. I'm not gonna lie. I would see stuff about it and be like, oh, that's interesting, and I would move on with my day. The moment they got Emma Chamberlain interviewing people for Vogue at the Met Gala, it became so much more interesting. I love it. I always look forward to it. The morning after the Met Gala, the very first thing I always do is look to see if all the interviews are posted yet, and I start watching all of them. And that's exactly what I did this morning. But after yesterday, I just love her way more. Recently, like back in November, I started getting into K-pop, and she was interviewing people from K-pop, so Stray Kids. I'm sure we all saw that interview. I have a bunch of thoughts about Stray Kids being at the Met Gala. Not negative, maybe negative because of the paparazzis. We'll get into that later. And then she also interviewed Jennie, and then also the fact that Jennie was like, oh my god, you are my comfort person whenever I come to the Met Gala.
It's so good to see you. You're
So
like a
good
big
to
relief
see you.
for
Oh,
me.
I'm so glad.
I'm like, oh my god, this is great. But yeah, I love Emma Chamberlain. I just love how she connects with like literally everyone. I know that they have like meetings about who they're gonna interview, so she can kind of like have an idea of how to connect with them. But I'm glad that she like actually remembers it, you know, because she was so good. Like the people who she interviews, like she's always so good at it. I love it. Now let's get to the photographer situation.
I've never seen so many emotional faces in my life.
Hello. Oh my god, I'm so glad I brought this up. I'm so pissed. I know that people already found his information. I literally saw someone comment his address, but there was a photographer. There was a couple of photographers at the event who were being so disrespectful. I'm sure that they were being disrespectful to everyone, but the clips I've been seeing specifically are them being disrespectful towards Stray Kids, and there was a couple of racist comments too, which is just not cool.
How many are there? Guys, you can step back.
Back up.
Get close. Come on, close. Why are they? Can you guys get closer together? Hey guys, tone it down. Tone it down, gentlemen.
Oh, the reveal. Oh, now we gotta do it again. Maybe now we can get it.
Now let's do it with feelings. They're gonna start performing.
And turn this way. Whoa, look at this. I can get you at least.
Everybody jump!
Say right in Korean. Hey, guys.
As you were. As you were.
Agree. I've been searching for days.
Yeah.
That shit is not cool. We should know better by now, okay? Second of all, you are working at an event. You are not a guest. You are not a host for the event. You need to know your place before you start being disrespectful to the guest of the event. It's ass. Like, it's such a shitty situation to be in. Such an important event, and then you get disrespected by the paparazzis, and you just had such high expectations for it. Like, I would feel like shit. Honestly, that would ruin my night. I'm not gonna lie. It's like later on, if I'm like a couple shots in, then maybe I'll forget about it. But like, I know for the rest of that carpet, and then for a couple minutes after I'm actually inside the event, that shit would just ruin my mood for that time. I don't know. That was just so ass. And I also understand there's going to be a lot of like photographers there that are yelling like all the time. Like, that's just like a given. Like, if you watch anything that's like related to paparazzis, they're always yelling at you, being like, oh my god, look here, why aren't you looking? Like that Dixie D'Amelio situation.
What's the deal? You're not looking. That's right.
Charlie, one more smile.
Seizures, so I had to look away because of the flashing lights. I know, but don't yell at me for something I can't control, like a medical condition. That's fine.
Like, I understand there's gonna be paparazzis like that, but they were making full-on unnecessary comments. I saw somewhere that one of the paparazzis was like, oh, we're gonna get COVID because they're Asian. Like, that's so weird. That is such a weird comment to say. If Alex Anna Wintour, which I think she runs the event, she's like the one that sets this up. If I saw that she was disrespecting my guests like that, I would blacklist them. Like, I think that that's what she should do. Honestly, I feel like that's the only appropriate thing to do. Never allowed to be in the vicinity of any of my events, because I know that you're gonna disrespect the people that are being guests here, you know, that I invited. The performance. So So honestly, I didn't know that they had a performance in there. I had kind of like an idea of what it was like in there because I've seen like a couple of pictures where it's just a bunch of tables. It's like a dinner, you know, and I knew that it was like a dinner, but I didn't know that they had like performances in there. Like I don't know why I just didn't think about that. I was just like, oh, it's probably like a dinner. They have like a little speech and they probably like eat and stuff and socialize. I don't know what the fuck they do at events like that. You know, I'm not a socialite. Yeah, I didn't know that they had performances, and I'm so glad that I just found this out because apparently they like keep it secret until you're actually there, because they were like, oh my god, who do y'all think the performer's gonna be? And they were like, oh my god, I don't know.
Who do you think the performer's gonna be? That's my last question.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a performer.
I was like, oh, this is a whole lore to it. This would make the Met Gala so much more fun. Like if I was someone attending it, this would be like the highlight of the whole thing, being like, oh my god, who is it gonna be? Who's gonna perform? I really hope it's like that. Maybe I'm like misspeaking and I just don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but apparently like they don't know who's gonna perform besides like the people running the event, of course. Next, we're gonna get into the fun part, second half of the video, rating the outfits. First, I have a couple thoughts about outfits, and it's men's outfits. Why do they always look bad? I don't know if it's necessarily the person attending or if it's the designer's fault, but I noticed that oftenly men wear just a suit, and it's honestly kind of boring, and it's honestly kind of, in my opinion, it's bad. I'm not a big fan of it. Jack Harlow's look was honestly kind of foul. I just don't find suits interesting. I don't know if I'm just like not in the loop. Like there's something special about the suits that I just don't know. But suits are so boring to me, and seeing them at the Met Gala, it just gives me kind of an ick because I feel like this is a good time to like dress up. I feel like the Met Gala is kind of like Coachella, where you kind of have like, this is an opportunity to be more creative with what you're wearing and like wear something a little bit more extravagant. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't look bad on it, but for the Met Gala, like you gotta be so for real. You gotta do something more interesting, something a little bit more exciting. I don't mean this to be an attack to Jack Harlow. It feels like it's an attack to Jack Harlow, but it really isn't. It's an attack to all the men at the Met Gala. I'm just kidding. I'm not a hater, I swear. Anyways, moving on. We're gonna talk about this outfit that I want to talk about. Looking at this, you're probably like, this looks boring. This is not eating up. This isn't giving the theme. But then once you hear the backstory, you're like, oh. Or at least in my opinion, I was like, oh. But basically, this dress was made out of sand. I don't know how exactly they did it, but first of all, the dress is molded to her body specifically. Like they molded that shit out of her. And then they put sand on it, and then her purse is a little hourglass with sand. The theme was Garden of Time. I don't know if that was the theme or if that was the dress code. I don't remember, because apparently those are two different things. I just saw that on a TikTok recently and I was like, what? Anyways, Garden of Time. This is a play on that because it's like the hourglass is sand in there, so she's like the sand inside the hourglass. A lot of people were talking about like sand gardens. No, girl, this outfit isn't about the sand gardens. I don't even know what the fuck a sand garden is. I didn't know this existed. It's the sand inside an hourglass because it's a timer, you know, which is so cool to me. I was like, oh my god, that is so cool. I'm sure this is boring to someone else. They're like watching this being like, okay, shut the fuck up, twin. But like, I think it's so cool because it's like the sand inside the hourglass. Garden of Time. Hardy B. I love her Met Gala outfits, or at least the last two ones I've seen. I like how they're like big. My favorite thing in outfits is whenever it's like a boring color, so like white or black or beige, but it has a lot of texture, so it makes it so like exciting. That's one of my favorite things in fashion. And this is that. And I was watching an interview, I think it was with Emma Chamberlain or something, I don't know, but there was, I think it was 7 people helping. 7 people were helping her carry this outfit, which is crazy. Apparently it weighs more than her. I'm not sure how on theme it is though. This is kind of giving Ursula. If we were gonna get I don't mean that like in an offensive way. Like I don't mean that like, oh, you're fucking ugly. No, I mean it like Ursula in like a ooh dark, like ooh energy. I love the outfit though. I just don't know how on theme it is. Moving on. Oh, Lana Del Rey. Well, hearing me in the other room being like this twink fucking freaking out about Lana Del Rey and Jennie from Blackpink again. Oh, anyways, I love Lana Del Rey. One thing that I will never do is hate Lana Del Rey. I just love her so much. Actually, maybe she might do some fucked up shit to me like in the future. Like let's say we become besties and she like backstabs me, then that's whenever I'll hate her. But like, you know, she's double my age. I don't think that's gonna happen. But like that's the only way that you can make me hate Lana Del Rey. I love her so much. And this outfit, hello? She feels like a forest in a good way. And then she has the rose in her hand. So Sleeping Beauty of her. I love it so much. This feels so ethereal. This feels like, you know, whenever you look at like pictures and there's like that foggy lens, it looks like you put grease on your camera, like that kind of energy, but they're aesthetic. This is what that feels like, but like in a good way. Like, someone random is gonna be like, what the fuck are you on about? I love this look. I love her outfit. She's eating the fuck up. Ariana Grande. So this is a different outfit from what she was wearing whenever she performed. At first, whenever you look at it, you're like, oh, this looks kind of plain, kind of boring. Like, what am I looking at? But then you realize that her whole top is made out of pearls, and I just think that is so cool. There was a correlation to the Garden of Time with this. I don't remember. I'm too lazy to look it up, and I don't care enough. La Rosalia. I love her. I worship her. I love her. With that in mind, please keep that in mind, please. I'm not the biggest fan of this dress. I just feel like there isn't much going on. I don't mean it like in a bad way. Jennie from Blackpink at Met Gala. I'm just kidding, disbanded, unfortunately. Honestly, I love her, but to be honest, I'm not a fan of this look. She looks good in it, but I just don't see how this is Sleeping Beauty, and I don't see how this is Garden of Time either, because I'm not seeing like how that's correlated, you know? But don't get me wrong, it looks good, but I just don't see how it's related to either of those. I don't see how it's on theme. So honestly, I kind of didn't like this outfit because of that, but if you take the Met Gala out of the outfit, I think it looks good. That is all of my thoughts thoughts. I'll leave the link with all of their outfits, like the 262 outfits down below. Please comment about your opinions because I love hearing them. I love seeing the different points of views. See you later. Bye.